Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing really well. Double fist pump day today because I'm actually outside taking photographs rather than sitting in my office editing videos. I've been doing a lot of video editing for the last number of weeks now for the F4 project that I'm working on with Thomas Heaton, Nick Page and Gavin Hardcastle, and I think we can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. So if you're interested in finding out more about the project, I'll leave a link down below and just click on that and you can sign up for the newsletter and find out all the information about the project. Now then, today I wasn't actually going to come out. It's been quite sunny for the last couple of days, but it clouded over this afternoon and I thought, you know what, I really need to get some fresh air. So I've come out to Triple Falls, which I've been to quite a few times over the years and done a number of videos, but I've never been here in the spring, and it's absolutely beautiful here because all the greens are nice and fresh right now. They're not all kind of withered and kind of looking very tired, you know, everything's nice and fresh. And we had a little bit of rain, I guess it was a couple of days ago, and the water levels are actually quite good right now. And I have a very specific image in mind that actually I took a number of years ago, but I want to retake it and kind of explain the image with you guys. So let me set up my camera and then I'll go over the composition and what I'm after. All right. Okay, so a few years ago I took an image here with the bubbles in the foreground, and if you come here in the winter, like the last time I was here, I think it was it's got to be at least 3 or 4 months ago now, and there were a lot of bubbles, but there was also a lot of foam, so it just didn't really, the effect that I was after didn't really work. Now, because I don't know if it's because the water's a little bit cleaner or perhaps there isn't quite as much water coming over the waterfall, there's some beautiful bubbles coming down in the foreground here. And I don't know if you can see this on the camera there, but just over here on the right hand side there's somewhat of an eddy. So the water is coming down the waterfall and then all of those bubbles are kind of forming and swirling around in that eddy. And what I found is if you take an image with a reasonably long shutter speed, you can get that movement in the foreground there and create this beautiful circular pattern that just makes an absolutely wonderful foreground. But you have to kind of experiment with the shutter speeds. Now it's quite dark right now. I haven't really checked what my meter reading would be, but I'm probably looking at least half a second to maybe a full second to try and get that circular motion. So I'm not sure if I'll have to use an ND filter or just perhaps a polarizer or a combination of the two. So I'm going to set up my camera and I'll go over the composition with you, and then we'll see what we can get. Wouldn't you know it? It seems to be the story of my life. One minute it's going to rain and the next minute the sun comes out. Regardless, it looks like the clouds are moving in a little bit again, so I should get some nice even light on this waterfall. So I've set up my camera. I have the widest lens that I have for this camera, which is a 23mm f4, and the composition looks really good. I think the slower the shutter speed, the better. So what I've done is I put it on a breakthrough photography polarizer, but it has a built-in 6-stop ND filter, which is just great. So just one filter, and I'm able to get the shutter speed down to around 4 seconds. It would be nice if I can get it a little bit longer, and I think as soon as the sun goes behind a cloud I might be able to do that. All right, I hope you can see this, but the waterfall looks like it's a little bit too far over to the left, but what I'm composing for are the bubbles in the foreground, and if you look carefully you can see them swirling around in this eddy, and it creates just a wonderful pattern in the foreground. Now I do have the ND filter on with the polarizer, but even then I still have to stop down quite far, f18 in this case, and I'll also shoot some at f16. So 6.5 seconds. So let's see how that turns out. And the light seems to be playing tricks on me today. 1 minute it's sunny and the next minute it's quite dark. And there we go. You can see the bubbles swirling around. This is really beautiful. The ferns are just so green and lush right now. They almost look fake. But that's the one thing I really do love about spring is just the greens are just so intense. So the composition I have here is this stream from the waterfall coming straight down between these ferns and the grasses over to the right here, or sorry, to the left. And then I have the waterfall in the background. It's a pretty straightforward photograph. The one thing I am a little bit worried about is part of the waterfall is kind of hidden behind this shrub over here. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a bit of a distraction or not. It's just the right amount of water. Okay, so this is the composition that I have. As you can see, I have the ferns in the foreground. They're so lush and green right now. So those on the right side, and then on the left, I have a nice grouping of grasses, and then the stream coming through between the two of them. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see the bubbles over here moving. I tried to keep the shutter speed reasonably short because the ferns are moving a little bit. As far as shutter speed for the waterfall, it doesn't really matter because it's kind of going over rocks, so it doesn't seem to matter what shutter speed you use. It looks silky smooth regardless. I also love this tree up here. There's a, whoops. There's somewhat of a gnarly tree up here, but the problem with that is as soon as I turn my camera up a little bit, I start to include some of the sky. But yeah, overall it's a really pretty scene. I think it'll turn out pretty good. Right, well that was really great. Great to come out for just a couple of hours, get some images, bit of fresh air, and I don't know, what else could you ask for? The water level is really great right now. The bubbles, I think they're going to work out well. Taken a number of variations, and of course by now you've seen probably the best shots that I've taken here. So I'm going to go back home now and get back to my video editing, and hopefully I'll have a video out for you next week as well. All right, everybody, thanks ever so much for watching. If you enjoyed this quick local shoot, be sure to give me a thumbs up. And as always, if you enjoy the content on my channel, be sure to subscribe. Till next week, bye-bye.